This is my home. You are so crazy, Mahmoud.
Okay, next time be naked.
This isn't Egypt. Like, I can wear whatever I want in my own house.
Not like, okay, so you can, okay.
So was anyone actually hopeful that Mahmoud would chill out when he got to America? I'm sorry to disappoint, but that's definitely not the case. But with Nicole now on her home turf, will things end differently this time when Mahmoud tries to control what she wears?
This is exactly what was happening in Egypt that I didn't want to have happen here.
So, get to the forest.
I hate to say it, but Mahmoud's kind of right. But before we get to that, let's start at the beginning. So we left these two after a very delicate situation. Nicole had just accused her husband of ogling a random Muslim woman on Santa Monica Pier. This was a lady who was covered from head to toe, and the last we saw after accusing him of being a womanizer and threatening to send him on the next plane home, Mahmoud had just stormed off.
We were walking down the boardwalk and there's a girl, like wearing her scarf and all covered up, and he was just like, and she was like staring at him too, and I was like, just go be with her.
Look, we haven't really seen Nicole jealous before, but then again, I guess she never really had a chance to be jealous in Egypt, given that she barely left the house, right? But now, on day 2 in America, her jealousy is out in full force. It's an ugly side to her. I mean, while the cameras didn't pick up precisely what happened, the way she's depicting Mahmoud seems almost like a cartoonish, salivating dog. That isn't what we saw. I mean, is that how she sees her husband?
And then he runs into this girl, and then all of a sudden, like, his eyes light up. So, of course, I feel I might not ever be the woman that he really wants.
Mahmoud is feeling homesick. Remember, this is the first time that he's ever left Egypt. It's his first time away from his family. Like, Nicole, I wonder why his eyes might be drawn to the first woman that reminds him of home. But Nicole is adamant that there was more to it than that. And she claims that Mahmoud has a history of talking to other women. In fact, it's at this point that they show a flashback scene from when they were both in Egypt.
Go have little chats with girls in other countries?
Why you go to my phone? You think it's okay?
No, I don't think it's okay.
Look, given the way that Nicole overreacted on the pier, I'm left wondering how accurate this is. Sure, Mahmoud looks guilty and he twists the scenario so as to blame Nicole, but if this really was serious, why wasn't it made into a bigger deal? Like, if Mahmoud was cheating on Nicole with other women, surely we would have heard about it by now. But once again, we get no answers. They just drop it and move on. Nicole is left trying to call her husband to find out where he's gone.
Why? Because like I don't need everything to be with you, and you said no.
Well, you know what, Mahmoud? If you want like Arab women, then that's what you should do. You should go back to Egypt. Yeah.
Now, I'm still not convinced that Nicole is even right here. But, ironically, what she's saying is spot on. Regardless of what Mahmoud says, he does clearly need and want a Muslim woman. Like, all of his issues with Nicole have come down to religion, religious preferences. So yeah, it really would have made both of their lives easier if he'd married a Muslim lady from Egypt. Why on earth he chose to marry an arty, fashionable American lady who knew nothing about his religion or culture still blows my mind.
I'm not going to take these.
Okay, well, don't then. That's okay. That's okay. You don't have to. You're not just gonna be on your own in a city you don't know anyone.
Nicole tells Mahmoud to make his way back to the pier so they can meet up and go home together. But isn't it odd how much Nicole's been acting like his mum since he arrived in America? She's been hovering over him constantly. She's been telling him, laying down the law as to what he can or can't do. I wonder whether a part of Nicole feels like the tables have turned. Feels like she's the one in control now.
Mahmoud, you can't just cross the street like that.
Yes, but Nicole, there's also other people crossing in exactly the same way as Mahmoud is. Nicole's desire to tell Mahmoud what to do definitely feels like some sort of repressed after effect of her time in Egypt. Now, as they meet up, Nicole, for the third time in this episode alone, tells Mahmoud that if he wants an Arab woman, he should go get one.
Like, why I'm here now if I want?
That's what I want to know. You
So, yeah, why I'm...
sitting there like,
Who did that?
You.
I never did that, and you just think it in your mind, so it's not my problem now.
I'm sorry, but Nicole's exaggeration of what she thinks Mahmoud did is ridiculous. We have footage. I mean, okay, it was filmed from behind, but they didn't pick up a thing. Mahmoud didn't even appear to break his stride, let alone stop dead in his tracks to ogle another woman. It just didn't happen like that, at least not from what I can see. So if Nicole really thinks that this is the type of thing that her husband would do, then why is she even with someone like that?
I'm never going to be that true person, and like I have my wife walk beside me and talk to a different woman. It is the most true thing you can do.
So, for what it's worth, Mahmoud adamantly denies that he's done anything wrong. He maintains that Nicole is overreacting. This isn't in his character, he says. That would be the most rude thing that you can do. His version of events make a lot more sense.
That woman was wearing that hijab. She's the first Muslim I see in the United States. This is why it was like surprised me. Because you seeing something is like saying about like whom.
It's pretty simple really, isn't it? I mean, Mahmoud saw a woman that reminded him of home. Reminded him of what he left behind. Of course he's gonna look. It's probably the first woman in a hijab that he's seen since arriving in the States. Like, if Nicole's taken that and twisted it into something dirty, something a lot more sinister, then that says more about her insecurities, than it does about Mahmoud. And it seems like on the drive home, Nicole has had time to reflect.
You know, you're so homesick and you're not even happy being here, so maybe I saw her as a symbol of like what you do want.
Mahmoud reminds Nicole that he literally just arrived in the country yesterday. He's only been in America for about 24 hours. It's far too early for her to be saying things like, "You're not even happy being here." Nicole's rushing to try and get Mahmoud to fit in far quicker than is ever realistically possible. Funny, because that's exactly what Mahmoud did and expected from her when she moved to Egypt too. I wonder if there's a little tit for tat in play here.
I understand that you're probably feeling pretty overwhelmed, but I've got my eye on you, let me just tell you that.
Okay, keep your eye.
With threats like that, Nicole must really believe that her husband has a wandering eye. This really does seem to be a brand new issue to add to their already long list of issues plaguing their marriage. And when we join them the next morning, after they've had some sleep, Nicole is ready to sit down and have a proper conversation about what actually happened yesterday, about what their argument was really about.
When I was in Egypt, I tried to make Mahmoud happy by, covering my hair, covering my body. But now that he's in America, I'm no longer going to compromise myself.
Good for you, Nicole. Now, keep in mind that when we saw her in Egypt, she wasn't covering her hair. Mahmoud did ask her to consider it, but she rejected, and he didn't force her. She shouldn't be forced into doing anything she doesn't want to, whether that's in Egypt or in the States. But the thing is here, these two are now back at square one. It's the same different day, different country. Nothing has changed. Nicole claims that she should be allowed to be herself, and Mahmoud claims he's been compromising for her.
This is how I change. It's like change. Before, honey, I don't like you wearing short sleeve. You know that. And I start changing my mind about that to be with you.
Now, Nicole tells Mahmoud that she demands full autonomy of her own body. He can't police her in that department, she tells him. But, ironically, Mahmoud has the audacity to claim he never says no to his wife. Now that is an absolute lie. We've seen Mahmoud repeatedly try to control what Nicole wears. He claims it's because of their joint religion. Remember, Nicole has converted to Islam. But it's getting to the point now where that just feels like a get out of jail free card. Nicole clearly isn't happy to abide by his interpretation of Islam, so he can't just keep making demands of her and conveniently saying, "It's not me, it's my religion." That just feels like a convenient excuse.
My religion is so important to me, and this is part of my religion. It's not me doing try to be like, oh, I'm the man here, you have to do that or not.
Yeah, this sounds like Mahmoud's using his religion to try and get away with a bit of misogyny here. I'm sorry, but there's plenty of good practicing Muslims who don't try to control their wives. He can't just say, "Oh, it's my religion," and think he can get away with it. Especially knowing that it was his choice to marry a foreigner.
He can be as religious as he wants, and I fully support that. But let me make decisions for myself. That's all I'm asking.
Now, Mahmoud claims that Nicole told him she'd try to meet him in the middle if he moved to America. But now that he's here, he feels like she's trying to change everything. But is that really the case? I mean, all Nicole wants is for Mahmoud to adjust his behaviour when it comes to decisions about her. She just wants the right to be able to make her own decisions for herself. But when we join them later on that evening, Mahmoud proves that he isn't capable of adjusting.
Things were going better until I walked out wearing a dress that showed part of my back. He accused me of being immodest, and now he's refusing to talk to me.
Nicole needs to realise that Mahmoud will not change. He's literally said over and over again that religion is more important to him than anything, even her. So why would he change his ways for her? Well, when we see what Nicole walks out in, it's laughable. I mean, this dress is very modest. It's long, it's got a high neckline. Surely Mahmoud would be happy, right? No, because now her back is an issue. Yeah, it's laughable. She'll never be able to win.
My friends are expecting you, so are you gonna go?
No,
Why not?
I don't want to go, Nicole. You can do.
Nicole has organised a dinner so that her friends can meet her husband for the very first time. It's rude of Mahmoud not to go. Like, this scenario is basically a mirror image of when he made Nicole go and visit his uncle in Egypt immediately after they'd had a fight. She was upset. She didn't want to go, but she did. Why? Because of how rude it would be if she didn't. But now that the roles have been reversed, now that he's the one on the receiving end, Mahmoud isn't willing to do the same things that he expected Nicole to do. Yeah, surprise, surprise.
It's not fair because she tried so hard to be in Egypt and she can't. But now she wants me to be American after only 2 days.
Look, this has nothing to do with being American or Egyptian at this point. This, plain and simple, is about what's controlling and what isn't. Mahmoud's using this opportunity to act like a sulky teenager. He's choosing not to look at Nicole. He's ignoring her when she talks to him. He's just staring at his phone screen. And this is forcing Nicole back into mother mode.
Mahmoud, when you make plans, you should keep them, right? He can't be a recluse just because he's upset with me.
Nicole talks about how Mahmoud needs to go out and be social. He needs to be exposed to American culture, she says. But, unfortunately, that's the last thing on his mind right now. Nicole may have been hoping that by Mahmoud meeting her friends and seeing how they live, he might loosen up a bit. But, in reality, the truth is it's gonna take a lot more than that for Mahmoud to loosen up. if he's even capable of it at all.
This is my home. You are so crazy, Mahmoud.
Okay, next time be naked.
This isn't Egypt. Like,
Just don't show
I
it or
can wear
not.
whatever
Like,
I want in my own
I'm not
house.
like, okay, so you can, okay.
Oh, come on. Mahmoud is seriously comparing the tiny peephole designs on her back to being naked. He really thinks that Nicole's gone too far. He tells Nicole that he's done. He's acting here as if he's the one being hard done by in this scenario. Like, Mahmoud has been in LA for about 2.5 days. Already in that time, he's claimed to be done with their relationship at least twice already. Yeah, the likelihood that this marriage can last is getting slimmer and slimmer by the second.
This is exactly what was happening in Egypt that I didn't want to have happen here.
So, get to the forest.
It's almost like blackmail. He's practically saying to her, do exactly as I want you to do or I'll divorce you. Wear precisely what I want you to wear or we're getting divorced. But the question is, why then does Nicole keep clinging on to this marriage? Like, why is she so desperate to convince us all that this is real love when we can all see that they have zero respect for each other? Now, to no one's surprise, it should come as no shock that Mahmoud refuses to go and meet Nicole's friends. And so, after all of that fuss, Nicole puts on a jacket and heads out alone.
I want a husband who accepts who I am and who lets me make decisions for myself and who doesn't, like, police my behavior constantly.
In the words of Mahmoud, get a divorce, Nicole. He's not gonna be that person. He was never that person. The Mahmoud that Nicole wants is a total fantasy. It's as if she's married to the potential that she sees in him, but not the real him. And she needs to open her eyes ASAP.